China offers one example of the strain on the world's energy supplies right now. There are a lot of competing forces at play. A faster than expected global recovery is leading to a higher demand around the world. Pandemic-related supply issues are making it hard to keep up. And carbon emissions targets by different governments are putting the squeeze on dirty sources of power like coal, whilst cleaner energy is struggling to meet the shortfall. We're joined by Helima Croft. She's managing director and global head of commodity strategy and MENA research at RBC Capital Markets. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, we got it right there. There's those three clear elements that are putting pressure on the system right now.
No, it's been a real perfect storm for energy. And one of the really big factors we've seen is with natural gas. I mean, we've had a perfect storm in terms of, huge surging demand for natural gas, colder than expected winter we had in Asia, which drew a lot of LNG to Asia. Then we've had issues, as you mentioned, in Europe. They had a colder than expected winter. We have very, very low inventories right now for gas in Europe. And we've had significant supply problems. We've had problems with Norwegian gas. We've had problems with gas from the Netherlands and Russia, the main supplier of gas into Europe. They have struggled to meet the demand in Europe as well. And one of the factors that hasn't come up enough is that during the COVID crisis, a number of producers, particularly gas producers, cut their operational budgets. They laid off workers. They were not expecting this huge economic recovery and reopening that we've seen this year. So they've just been struggling to meet demand this year. So it's been a confluence of factors. But the real concern is if you have a very cold winter, you could see this power crisis accelerate and real pressure on consumers.
You were talking there about, them being caught out by all of this, but surely the opportunity is there as well, because this isn't necessarily terminal. They just need to get back up to the speed they were pre-pandemic.
Well, I mean, here's the issue sort of, how quickly can these markets recover? And, one of the issues, particularly for Europe, has been this new Russian pipeline, Nord Stream 2. That was a very controversial pipeline. And Russian energy officials have signaled, well, if Nord Stream 2 is just approved by that German regulator, they could bring these supplies into Europe. But a lot of experts are saying that a country like Russia, even if Nord Stream 2 is greenlit tomorrow by the German regulators, they're simply not going to be able to surge enough gas into the system if there is an especially cold winter. And all of this is happening against a backdrop of the COP26 climate conference. It's just about to start. Real debates over what is the optimal energy mix as countries seek to reach these net zero targets. And one of the concerns really is that do you have a sort of populist backlash against these, renewable policies? I mean, we've had issues with renewables this year, particularly in Europe. There were issues around wind not meeting demand requirements, some problems with nuclear, but we've seen problems with hydro in southern China, in Brazil as well. And so the question is, if consumers are facing, skyrocketing utility prices and power cuts, are they potentially going to demand a return to coal?
So when you talk about the perfect storm, it almost brings in the COP conference, doesn't it, in Scotland later this year? Because
No, absolutely.
it's not
Yes.
only putting pressure on the current system, but it's also putting, the pressure's going to go the other way and people could become less green, certainly in terms of energy.
Well, I mean, this is the real concern is about a potential populist backlash. I mean, we had a couple years ago, as you'll remember, the Yellow Jackets protest in France over, rising energy prices. And again, if we have a situation with an especially cold winter, if we have a mild winter, potentially we do get some relief. But if we do have an especially cold winter, and you do have consumers facing, power cuts and not able to heat their homes, you could have a resurgence of this populist movement and people saying, do we need to have all this emphasis on renewables? We need to be able to have energy access as well. And that's something I think that policymakers are really going to be grappling with in Glasgow is how do you ensure a sort of just transition that allows these issues about affordability and access while you try to move your whole energy system to being based on renewables. Because right now you still have significant problems with intermittency with renewables. What happens when the wind doesn't blow, when you don't have the sun, when you have unseasonably warm summers and you don't have enough water? How do you deal with these intermittency issues? And you have, oil and gas producers saying right now, you need to still have investment in these fossil fuels in order to meet demand until you truly have a transition situation.
How concerned are you that the system is, so consolidated now that certain countries have control over gas supplies, gas supplies in Europe, if we're talking about Europe, and they can perhaps use that as leverage over other countries, and some countries will lose out as a result of that when it comes to the crunch?
I mean, that has been the whole debate over Nord Stream 2, particularly strong debate in the United States, with a number of members of Congress on both sides of the aisle really pushing for the project to be sanctioned in order to stop it, because they pointed out that this is a pipeline that will completely circumvent Ukraine, potentially a Russian influence project to sort of deepen Russia's dependence, I mean, Europe's dependence on Russian gas, while at the same time denying Ukraine of a vital source of transport revenue. And so you had this, real debate over whether this pipeline should even go forward. Well, the pipeline is going forward. It's been held up a bit by the German regulator, but certainly there's no indication right now that Russia is going to go away as the top supplier into Europe. And there had been hope that the US LNG would be the sort of savior in this situation. But US LNG has increasingly gone to Asia. There has been this tremendous pull into Asia because of higher prices in Asia. I mentioned that unseasonably cold winter in Asia, and that was one of the initial catalysts for the situation that we're in right now. It drew a lot of supplies of LNG into Asia away from Europe. And you've also had issues in Latin America, again, with hydro having problems in Brazil. Brazilian demand for LNG has also been rising. So in a sense, Europe's been left out in the cold and ever more dependent on Russian gas.
If we take the country I'm in the UK, there's a big debate as well about these energy price caps. It makes energy affordable for consumers, but it creates real problems for the companies involved here. The government's got a duty, obviously, to keep everyone warm and homes warm, but companies can't survive if they're losing money at the same time. Is that going to be a growing issue in various Western economies as well?
I mean, again, the hope is that we get a milder winter, and so we don't have this sort of exacerbation of the current crisis. We're essentially having to make choices between, providing power to consumers and providing power to energy intensive industries. And again, there's not probably enough gas in the system right now to be able to alleviate such shortages if we get an unseasonably cold winter. So what we're seeing right now could be the shape of things to come. Now, you can have governments getting together and thinking about better ways to improve supply going forward, about what you can do in terms of reducing demand, in terms of greater energy efficiency. But as we think about the winter that we're heading into, right now, it doesn't seem like there's enough that can be done to alleviate a crisis again if we have an unseasonably cold winter.
Okay, Helima Croft, appreciate your time and your insight on this issue, which is going to be a big one, as you say, if it's cold winter.